Hi you guys, it's me, Chris Kelly. I am in the rubber room. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Just taking a minute to make sure I'm in the right spot. And then we're going to start live at lunchtime. This is like one of my favorite things to do. It's just to hop on, maybe give you a distraction during your busy day at work, and treat you to a little bit of creative inspiration. At least I hope I'm inspiring you. Well, let's see. I can't see myself here, so let's try a different tactic. Sometimes you have to do a business profile and a personal profile, and sometimes I don't change them out like I should. So I can't see the things I should be able to see when I should be able to see them. Okay, it looks like I'm in the right spot. And this is a card made with the carrot stamp set. It's called Thanks a Bunch. And this is a celebration item, so it is free with a minimum $50 purchase made before the end of this month. We have to keep in mind that February 28th celebration ends. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so meaning all of the stamps are clear. It also is a two-step stamp set. And I want to point out one thing. I'm going to be doing a class with this just because these little, if you turn it this way and you look at these little stamps here, you can see little flowers and some grass, and lots of different things can be made with this stamp set. So even after celebration is over, I'm going to be sharing some really cute ideas for this stamp set with you. But today, we're just going to be making this card with some balmy blue, some navy. This is the Sentimental Park Designer Series paper. And these little gems are the milky dots. And I don't think I brought those with me. Hang on one second. Here we go. So these are the milky dots. And these are part of the products that were given to the people that came to our catalog launch. So you can see they come in two sizes, a small and a large, and they're kind of this clear and this kind of pinky tone, and then some navy, and then some almost gold. And they're kind of opaque, and so they can pick up the different colors of the things you're working on. So they're very, very cool. So we are going to start off with some balmy blue cardstock. That's going to be your card base, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and it's scored on the 11-inch side at 5.5 inches. So we're just going to fold it and burnish it, okay? And then we are going to add some crumb cake paper, and this paper is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we're going to put this designer series paper on top of it, and it is 5 1/4 by 4. And we're just going to add this little piece right in the middle of our designer series paper. Okay, so that's how we're going to start off layering things up. Oh, look at that. I managed to turn my card upside down. I am glad I caught that, right? So I'm going to use just some regular old Stampin' Seal. I'm going to put it on the back of my little piece of DSP. I'm going to put this down first so that if it is a little long on either side, I can just trim that off. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right in the middle there. And this is the Sentimental Park Designer Series paper. And it is one of my favorites from our new mini catalog. So I'm just going to trim that edge off a little bit there. And then I'm going to put this whole piece right on top of my crumb cake. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that together. And you probably could use that also with this. I just think it's a little bit busy. So we're going to put that on there. I have to move it down just a little bit, I can see, in order to get it straight. There we go. And then I'm going to add all 3 of these right to my card base. And because I don't trust myself, I'm just going to open it one more time. Make sure I am on track. And I am. Okay. And then I have this little strip of paper, which was just the end of this piece of paper. So this one was 5 1/4 and your paper is 6. So it's that little 3/4 of an inch that was left at the bottom of my paper. So I'm just going to take that designer series paper and I'm going to put it right in the middle of my crumb cake, which is 1 inch. And I need to get it centered there. Okay, wherever you guys are today, I hope that you are enjoying your little lunch break and some creative time and some sunshine. Here in Michigan, we are seeing some sunshine for the first time in a while. All of the snow is kind of melting and ice, and so it's just getting really nice out. Okay, so this piece I am going to put on the inside of my card at the bottom. And that's just going to give it a little more of a kind of nice, happy design when you open the card, and a little bit more of a connection from the inside of your card to the front of your card. And then I have cut out a little label, again using my crumb cake, and the Fancy Labels dies, Fancy Labels something special. Yes, the Something Fancy dies. And these dies, they layer one inside of each other. They're absolutely amazing, and I'll share those with you in just a minute. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on here in some Night of Navy ink, which I don't seem to have here. Hang on one second. Boy, I thought I brought everything with me, and I didn't. I do have all the colors of everything except my words. So I'm going to stamp my words in basic gray, which will be just fine. And they're going to say, thanks, a bunch. So I took the thanks and then a bunch. So they're 2 different stamps, but I think that they look really good together. And I think they're really cool with this design. So I'm going to do my thanks over a little bit to my right, so I have room for my carrots to go on there. Okay, and then I'm just going to do my a bunch. And these, guys, because they are photopolymer, you can line them up very, very easily. So I'm going to kind of go this way, make sure that they're straight. Okay, and I am very happy with that. I don't think it really matters at all that they're gray. Okay, so now I'm going to use Balmy Blue, Pear Pizzazz, and Evening Evergreen for the rest of my card. And I'm going to stamp the carrots first. Let's get everything else out of the way so I don't drop an ink pad on it or something equally as fun as that. And I am going to start with the biggest part of my carrot, and I am going to stamp it in the Balmy Blue. I like to start with the, I guess it's the smaller part, because that is going to be the darker part, and it's easier for me to line up the light part with that. So I'm going to start with the darker part, which is kind of the outline. I'm just going to tap it on my balmy blue and put it on my piece of white paper. And this card is going to have 2 carrots on it. So I'm going to stamp both pieces. And then to get that lighter color, I'm going to stamp off or do a second generation. So this is my more bold stamp, and that's going to be the lighter one. And what's going to happen is this will just give it a little bit of a shadowed kind of effect. And I'm going to put the tip of my carrot down first, because with just my tip down, I can move it and get it lined up perfectly where I want. So that's going to be carrot number 1, and this one is carrot number 2. I'm going to do it the same way. There we go. And now I'm going to move on to my pear pizzazz, and that's going to be my bigger leaf. Now when you're doing this, you can do like a second generation and a first generation using just one color if you wanted to. But I chose 2 different colors of green. So I'm going to start with my pear pizzazz, which is my lighter color. And I'm going to add 2 leaves to the top of my carrot. They kind of look like moose horns, don't they? And these, I think that I'll kind of overlap them a little bit, and that will give them a little more texture also. Okay? And then I'm going to move on to my evening evergreen, which is going to be the smaller kind of little leaf that I'm going to put on. And I'm just going to stamp that, and it's a little bit taller, so it's going to go kind of right above the other leaf. Okay, so that's going to make the top of your carrot. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on this carrot. So these are kind of like carrot toppers, right? Okay. And then these do not come with dies. So I am going to take a minute and just fancy cut them. And it's a real easy fancy cut because you don't have all these little grooves or anything like that you have to get into. And while I'm cutting, I'm going to mention to you that today is the last day to sign up for our Color Craze event here in the Rubber Room on February 18th. And we are going to make 4 cards, or 8 cards, to each of 4 designs. And all 4 of the cards will have different coloring techniques. So think daubers and blends and watercolor pencils and aqua painters. We're just going to have a really good time. Stampin' Up! Offers lots and lots of different coloring methods, from watercolor pencils to re-inkers to blending brushes, just all kinds of different ways that you can color with watercolor paper and shimmer paper. Lots of different options. So it's whatever one you like is the one that you'll kind of gravitate to. But on Saturday, I'm going to take some time to show you all of, well, not all of them, because there are literally hundreds of different combinations you could make with all of those tools and all of the colors that we have. But I'm going to show you some fun ways that I use on a regular basis to color. And much like fancy cutting, I find coloring very relaxing. So I like to watercolor and use my blends and my blending brushes to add color. They really make it so easy, you know, with all the coordinating colors and all of the great tools. So we're just going to do some exploring. The class is $40. You will get a packet with it that will have at least $30 in merchandise or products that we're going to use during the class. And then you'll have plenty left over that you can take home with you and use while you're at home at your own convenience. And you can keep up with what you learned in class by coloring at home with those same amazing products. So you have until midnight tonight to sign up for that one. In the morning, I'm going to place our product orders so that they'll be here in time for you to pick up at class. If you can't make it to the class, that is not a problem at all. I am happy to mail your products to you along with your card kits. You just need to add $10 for mailing. It used to be $9, but this morning I mailed some things and I'm going to have to raise my prices to $10 because of the increase in mailing. So I will mail it right to your door. If you're in the area, you can do a porch pickup or we can arrange for a door drop off whenever it's convenient, and you won't have to add shipping that way if you're in the area and just busy on the 18th. On the 19th of February, I am doing what's called an Inspiration Day, and I open up the Rubber Room from noon until 6 p.m. and we just come and work on any projects that you have going on. It's just a little bit of social time for everybody to kind of hang out and do their own thing. You can bring a snack to share. You can bring your favorite snack, whatever you want to munch on while you're here. I don't provide any meals per se. There's water and coffee, and I do have a little snack rack with potato chips and Cheetos and popcorn and that kind of good stuff. So you can bring all of your own consumables. So you do need to bring all of your own consumables and clear plates if you want to use my cut and emboss machine. So it's a lot easier to travel with just your clear plates and not have to bring your whole machine with you. But you will be able to use all of my stamp sets and my dies and all of that fun stuff while you're here. And of course, it is just a good time to be able to craft with some friends, get out of your house, enjoy a little time, being inspired by what other crafters are doing. So you may want to put that event on your calendar, and you do have to RSVP for that one. Okay, and I also am doing a bingo. It's an online bingo on March 5th. It's a Sunday night at 7 o'clock, and I am partnering with my upline, Rhonda Wade, to do that event. So it is $39. You'll get lots of product. We'll make some cards. We'll play some bingo. Well, it will just be a really fun night, and you can buy extra bingo sheets for $10 if you want. And so here we go. I'm going to back on track to what we were here for. These are, I'm going to take my snips and distress this little tag here. So I'm just going to lightly run my snips over top of my tag. And you don't have to do this. You can certainly just put your tag down without doing this. I kind of like the texture that it gives. You can also do this with your fingernail if you want. That will give you the same kind of effect. I just prefer to use my scissors, my snips here. And you can see it's just kind of wearing off a little layer of the cardstock on the edges there. Okay, and I'm going to put this one down with some Stampin' Seal right here close. Whoops, I'm going to put it so we can read it, so it's going in the right direction. And then I'm going to put 1 carat down flat to my card base with my Stampin' Seal. And it's going to kind of go like this. And then this one, I'm going to take my adhesive strip. And if you guys don't use these adhesive strips, you are missing out. These are so great for pieces like this, where you want the whole thing to be really sturdy. It's a bigger piece than something you might use for your regular dimensionals for. I really try and use a dimensional that coincides with the piece of cardstock I'm putting it on. So if I have a really small piece, I'll use a mini dimensional. If it's just like a sentiment that's been die cut, I will use a regular dimensional. But something like this, you can see how nicely this adhesive strip fits on here. So I'm just going to pop the back off, and it works just like a dimensional, so it's sticky on two sides. You just peel it off and then stick it down. Okay, and I used a piece of the ribbon here that we used during the class, and then frayed it and put it on there, but I don't have that ribbon handy. I do, however, have this little piece of twine. So I am just going to do a little bunny ear bow with my twine and put that on my carrot that I raised up with my dimensionals. So this is just kind of a really fun, quick, easy card. And I just, coupled with this designer series paper, I love the look that the blue carrot gets. Let's see, did I bring some mini glue dots? I did. So I'm just gonna attach my little bow with a glue dot right to this carrot at the top. Okay? So again, that is the Thanks a Bunch stamp set with the Sentimental Park Designer Series paper. Super fun, right? And you can see the thanks came right from here. Okay, so let's sneak in one more. Let me see if anybody has any questions here. And the other one's going to be super, super quick because I did most of the die cutting for you. I know, Marielle, I'm going to do a class with that stamp set even after celebration because I just absolutely love it. You wouldn't be the first person to adhere something upside down. I am sure not, Bambi, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with for sure. Oh, Lori, I'm glad that you like it. Those were, again, these two are both cards. Hi, Susie. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. These are both cards that we did during our catalog launch. So if you like them, when we get that new catalog, you may want to be sure you sign up for that class. Okay, so this one is one that there's paper, designer series paper, in the celebration catalog that matches this. So we're going to be using the Dainty Delight stamp set and then the Dainty Delight dies. These dies are absolutely amazing. You get some really fun images with them. Let's see if I can pull some out here for you. Oh, I have to go back to my card here because I forgot. You guys know I always forget this, right? I am forever forgetting to add my little milky dots or my accessories. I remember the ribbon part, but forgot the little milky dots. So I'm going to use a big one and a little one on here. Up here. And then I'm just going to toss a little one down here. Okay. So the other thing that we talked about, look at these are really, really intricate. If you can see, they have just the little lines right in the leaves, which are beautiful. They're kind of like embossed in there. And this one kind of reminds me like of a dandelion. that you can just blow on the top of it. And then we have these petal pink ones that are just kind of like little berries. We have our frame. And then we have these, we actually did these in the texture paper. So I don't know if you can see it, but again, it has all those little lines in it that are just gorgeous. So let's get started with this one. And like I said, it's pretty much done because all of the dies are cut for you. So I'm going to start by adding my designer series paper. And you know what? I'm going to actually, let's lift this designer series paper, and you'll be able to see what I mean about using these adhesive strips. And we're going to just make this whole piece of designer series paper. We're going to lift the entire thing up. So I'm just going to put my adhesive strip right at the edge of my designer series paper. I'm going to put it all the way around my card. That's just a little tiny piece that I'll add in the middle here. Maybe I will if I can get it to let go of my finger. There we go. And we'll take this piece here and go here with it. And again, I'm going to be able to use like every little scrap up. So I'm going to use my ends and my middles, and they come pre-cut. So you kind of have the same width whenever you use them. I'm just going to trim that one and put this on here. And I do tend to peel off a whole strip at a time, because usually I'm using them for a big area like this. Okay, so you can see that it's going to give that little pop to this whole piece of designer series paper. And always, my hardest decision while I'm crafting is which piece of the designer series paper do I want to use. I don't know if you saw my video earlier this week, maybe. With the new online exclusives. Oh my gosh, as a demonstrator, you can pre-order them now. And you can even, if you were going to take advantage of that amazing starter kit deal during celebration, you can add those products to your starter kit. So that makes it even a better deal when you can get those exclusives. Okay, so you can see. But anyways, when I did my video, a little all over the place, but when I did my video, I shared those new products with you, and the designer series paper is just drool worthy for sure. It is gorgeous. Not that this isn't, but Stampin' Up! Always blows me away by the beauty of their designer series paper. So you can see it has this little lift there around the edge, so it gives it kind of some oomph to begin with. And our image is going to be completely flat on here, so we want that oomph to it. Okay, I'm going to come in with my green glue and glue my frame on there. And I think the frame is from Custom Frames, maybe. Can't remember the name of that one. I always think, oh, I'm going to write them down before I go on, and then I never do because I forget. But I can look in the catalog and let you know. They're frames that just kind of layer one inside the other. And I didn't write down which frame it was from or which die it was from either. So I'm going to put this right in the middle of my card. And I love this frame. It really makes whatever image you put inside here pop and look kind of special. So, and then I'm going to start at the bottom with my greenery. I'm going to bring my little glue in here. I guess I'm like way out for you guys. Let me go this way. There. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to take my green glue and just put little dots on here. And sometimes if it's easier for you, you can put a pile of glue down and take your pick tool to just kind of pick up little dots of it and put them on here. But I'm not going to do that. I like to just use my glue. So I'm just going to kind of round that around here and hold on to it for a minute. This part down here, I'm not going to really glue down because I'm going to take a little, I'm going to trim it just a tiny bit, I think, before I really glue it down. I'm looking to see, I of course forgot my ribbon for this one. So bear with me just for a moment and let me see if I can pick it up. Here it is. Okay. We got it, so we're good. So then I'm going to take my second piece of my green, and this is just kind of like an ivy vine. And I'm just dotting my glue all the way up. And I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to put it right on top of my other one. So it looks like a really nice thick vine coming up the side of my card. Okay. And then I'm going to take my flowers and I cut out 2 of each of these. So we'd have 2 flowers and 2 little pink things, branches, and 2 little white ones. Okay, so these I'm just going to put one on top of the other, and I'm going to kind of stagger them so it'll look like one really full flower. I'm just going to press them together, and you could easily use your glue dots for this piece if you're more comfortable with those than a little dab of glue. I know we all have our own favorite adhesives, so if you like a glue dot, just put one of those on there. And we're just going to kind of, again, turn it so it looks like one really big flower, one really big full flower, okay? And then I'm going to do my little pink ones. And you can really, there's no right or wrong place to put these. Move those out of the way. So you can kind of put them, I started right down at the bottom again. Kind of went like that. And then inside up this way. And it probably would have been better to do these using some adhesive paper behind it, but I was not thinking really well at that point, I guess. So your glue, your liquid glue will work. I'm just going to put a little liquid glue on the tops of all of those, and then at the very bottom. And like I said, it does work, but ideally, when I'm going to use this die again, I will be using it with some adhesive paper instead of using the glue dots. And I'm going to put one here. And one up here. And then I'm just going to come in and cut this little tail part off. I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm just going to come in with my scissors and cut this little piece off the bottom. Okay, and I am going to take glue dots and put my 2 flowers on. I'm just going to set them on my glue dot, pop it off, and one is going to cover that area there. And then the other one, I'm going to bring down in here. Whoops. Sometimes that's, there we go. And I did just put those on with my glue dots, and I think I'm going to bring this up just a little bit more. Well, maybe not. Maybe she's on there for good. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to bring her up to about here. Just a little tad. Nope, and I pulled a little piece off. So I think I'm just going to dip that in some glue and stick it right under there. I'll dip the end of it right in some glue. And then push it right under there. I might have to use my scissors to do that. My little snips will get me in there. There we go. So I'm just going to take my snips and move it around. And apparently you have to be really quiet to do this. Okay. So I can live with that, I think. Maybe just a hair. There we go. Okay, perfect. There. Let's put this away. I love my new little caddy. I have been using it since the beginning of the year, and I'm still forgetting things, but I'm not forgetting as many things, which is a good thing. So I am going to come in, and I think I'm going to use these little almost pink ones for the centers of the flowers. So I'm going to use the bigger one. Whoops, I got a little one trailing along there. I'm going to use the big ones just for the centers of the flowers, okay? And I am going to take my ribbon and tie a little bow. And this ribbon is on back order. It's from the Floral Bouquet set, and it comes in this great 2-pack with real red and then this burlap. And it's coming back in, so you will be able to order it again, but you just can't order it right now. There are so many things in this catalog that have already sold out, or they're on back order just waiting for another shipment to come in. So my suggestion is, if you want something, you grab it. I think I came on yesterday or the day before and said, hey, if you need that bunny punch, you better order it. And later that day, it went on back order, which back order means that you cannot order it, but that we will be getting more in. Unorderable means it's gone. So the leprechaun punch is gone, but the bunny punch will be back, and the floral lane, our floral bouquet punch will be back. This ribbon will be back. So if you're impatient and you don't want to wait for them to come back, you need to order them before they disappear. Okay, I'm going to put my ribbon bow on with a little glue dot. Okay, there's a glue dot right there. And we are going to stamp our sentiment, because we need a little sentiment in there, right? So we're going to stamp our sentiment, and it's going to say, thank you for your kindness. And we're going to do that in balmy blue. So it's going to be the same color as our carrots were. And I'm going to put it right in the middle of this piece of the scrap paper. And I'm not going to worry too much about it if it's straight or a little crooked. it's going to be okay. Let me close that. Get this out of the way. Now, I alluded to the fact that we had these great dies. These are called Something Fancy dies. They but you can bundle them with the Something Fancy stamp set and save 10% when you purchase both of them. Or you can get just the dies, or you can get just the stamp set. But these dies they're just so cool. So you can see you have these two that layer in, and then you have this great piece that I didn't clean out. I used my Post-it tape to kind of post it inside there and use them both together that way. Let me just clean these things out because it'll drive me crazy having them in there. Okay. So this can kind of go right in the top of your tag and cut it out. So you have that one, then you have this little kind of like teardrop one, and then a little tulip one. That tulip one is kind of like my favorite. And this is the one we're going to use, and it will layer right inside this bigger one. And then you have, this is kind of like a little 3-pack here. So you have all 3 of them that will layer together and just keep getting smaller. So you can use a large sentiment with it. You can use a smaller sentiment with it. Then you have this great kind of octagon one. And then this little kind of banner almost one. So let's put those away. Again, that's your Something Fancy dies. And if you can only buy one set of dies from this catalog, it needs to be this one. It's that good. Okay, so let's bring in, this is our little mini boho blue machine, and that is yours if you join during celebration. It's an exclusive celebration item, and when you join, you can get this one, or you can get it in white if you want to, or you can join and not get the machine if you don't need it. So for $99, you can get $175 in merchandise. For $129, you can pick $175 in merchandise and get this machine in the blue or the white. So it is an amazing deal for this little machine. It's super light, super small. So I'm going to take my number 1 plate, my number 2, and then my sentiment, and then I'm going to put my die right on top of my sentiment, and then cover it up with another number 2. Now when you use this machine, I like to stagger my plates. So my plates are going to be staggered kind of like this at the end. Okay. So I'm going to set it down here, and I actually am going to get a little washi tape to tape my die on there. I want to be sure that my die does not move when I send it through here. So I want to make sure I'm going to add just a little washi tape right up here. And then put my other plate on. I love new plates. These plates look like they've only been used once, so that makes them really cool. So I'm just going to hold it, put my hand at the top, kind of hold it down a little bit, and then just crank it through. All right, get this out of the way. I think this is so cute, and look how great that color goes with the gray. This is going to be one of our new in colors called Boho Blue, and it matches so many of our colors. I can't wait to see the new color in person. Get it like in my hot little hand, right? Okay, I must be like the least patient person because I think the pre-order, the demonstrator pre-order is one of my favorite perks, just because I like to get things as soon as I can. As soon as they're out, I need to have one. So I think that makes me really impatient, or I just need new toys all the time, right? Okay, so this I'm just gonna slide like right in there. And I'm gonna use just some regular Stampin' Seal with it. I know I probably kept you guys over your little half hour, but I wanted to sneak in 2 cards today just because the sun's shining and they were making me happy to make them with you. So I'm just gonna slide that under there. Like that. There we go. How fun, right, you guys? So we have that one, and then we have this one. So thanks for tuning in. Let me see if anybody has any questions before I say goodbye to you and let you get back to your work or to your lunch or to your lunch and then your work. Late, but you're here. Well, I'm glad you're here, Debbie. Susie, you ended up getting the carrot stamp set. You can. It will be a great stamp set for Easter. Cats must have got... Oh. You had to take off for those cats will get you every time, Susie. Okay, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon, and I will see you here again soon. Bye-bye.